My 42 son Jay, 18, is having a baby with his girlfriend, Kate, 18. I will honestly say, I don't think they're ready for this. They've been together for less than a year, but she's due in July. Obviously, I know that things happen, so we're doing our best to embrace it. I'm excited to meet this new little person. Anyway, Kate's family's uninvolved. They honestly weren't great parents to begin with, but when they found out, they kicked their pregnant, nearly adult child to the streets. She and my son were living with me until 2 weeks ago when they got their first apartment. I'm extremely proud of them. We had a room set up for the baby, but since they got their own place, I let them take all the baby items I purchased. I mean, a fully furnished nursery, and then of course, everything from the shower. That baby isn't going to be wanting for much. Well, the baby's breech. They've tried everything to get that baby to turn, but nothing. So they have a C-section scheduled for July 3rd, assuming the baby doesn't flip or she goes into labor. I requested this day off work and then asked my son and Kate if they'd like me to pick them up or if they plan to have my son drive them. My son was confused and told me that he would drive them. Why would I drive them? I told them I was just offering and told them I'd be in the waiting room for her to get out of surgery. Then Kate jumped in and said that they didn't have any visitors at the hospital. She said she needed time to heal and they wanted to bond with the baby. She said it would just be the two of them and her sister. I'll admit, I was pretty taken aback. I mean, I feel like as the grandparent, I'm closer than the aunt, but whatever. I said okay because I didn't want to fight and said I would wait at their house. Kate jumped back in and said the only visitor they would be having was her older sister. She said she would be in pain, bleeding, and trying to breastfeed, and that she wanted privacy to do that. She also said that I never got my Tdap booster, which I don't need, as I had it maybe 5 years ago when I had to go to the ER for a cut, so I couldn't come until the baby had its first shots, or I got the shot. I pointed out to her that if she didn't have a natural birth, she wouldn't be bleeding, and it would just be a surgery recovery. She could stay in the bedroom and relax, and my son could bring her the baby when it's hungry. She told me that nobody was taking her newborn from her. Many other things were said, and I felt extremely exploited. I sheltered and provided for her and my son, and I didn't have to. Plus, I gifted them a lot. I now see a lot of other narc tendencies from her, and I feel like it's World War III with my poor boy caught in the middle. I don't feel like I'm an idiot, but she and my son say I am. Am I the idiot? Edit to add, I'm a man. You should have warned them your generosity came with a lot of strings attached. How about you show this new-to-be mom some respect and privacy while recovering from a life-altering event? You are the idiot and absolutely wrong about a C-section. I found it particularly comical that you speculate that the girlfriend has narcissistic tendencies when parents treat their kids like they owe them for raising them, which is textbook narcissism. Right? Good people, I do things to help because I care about my son and his family. OP, I do things to help because I want to guilt my son and his family into catering to my demands. I love the I let them take all the baby items I purchased, implying that OP could have kept them? And done what? Returned them, I suppose. My poor boy? I was like, huh? Your poor boy is creating his own nuclear family. You're now part of your son's secondary family. Accept this and stop controlling their lives. She's recovering from invasive surgery and becoming a mother for the first time. And the girl researched the importance of vaccines for people who will be in contact with the baby. I don't know this girl, but she's clearly committed to her child's safety, and I'm proud of her. But isn't every girl closer to her new boyfriend's 42-year-old dad than her own sister? I'm pretty sure you're fine with your sister and your boyfriend seeing your titties and smelling your unshowered stink, LOL, but maybe not your boyfriend's dad, which it sounds like Kate wants to say outright, but OP wouldn't take the hint, LOL. I really wanted to give OP the benefit of the doubt, but he kept pushing, which makes him the idiot. She's going to be recovering from surgery. If she doesn't want visitors, respect it. Babies don't spoil. You'll meet the baby when the parents are ready for you to do so. Update. I see now that I've been the idiot in several ways. So I'm just going to apologize and keep the peace and accept that I'll have to wait. My wife passed away almost 2 years ago. She was pregnant unexpectedly, and she and our daughter died due to complications surrounding her high-risk geriatric pregnancy. This is part of why I suspected, but wrongly assumed, that they would want me at the hospital, not the delivery room. We had no support from our families when my son was born, and he's gone through a rough few years. I just wanted them to be supported as much as possible. I, 25 female, live in a highly populated city. We have a backyard parking lot in my small building, and the ground is covered with concrete grid pavement, has holes with grass in between. I was away from home for a few weeks and also purchased a new car. This car is significantly bigger than my last and is tough to park, especially with the small, awkwardly spaced parking lot. It's not straight lines like at a grocery store. The builder worked around the weirdly shaped building and gazebo, so the parking spots are all over the place, so every apartment can have one. Well, the morning I returned, I received a text that I had run over the kids' project garden for the summer. I was confused because I was sure I hadn't gone anywhere near any small patches of dirt we had for planting. I went onto the balcony and saw crumpled plants on the left of my parking spot. The plants, however, were planted in between the grid pavement. I texted back that their makeshift garden was on the pavement meant for cars to go over. They told me that I could avoid running it over. I tried for a few days, but ultimately, one night in the dark, I ran some of them over again. They painted white lines, but again, one night in the dark, I ran it over. My neighbor's next step was to put potted plants to surround it. And guess what? I ran over the pots late at night. At this point, one guy called me downstairs and gave me a 10-minute lecture on how to park without doing it. I told him to respectively screw off and move the plants next to his parking spot. My spot is so awkward, and there's a huge car on the right. So in the dark, when in doubt, I'm driving over the plants instead of damaging the car next to me. He got really livid, and we got into a huge argument. Some people suggested they install lights so I can see better at night and avoid the plants. But honestly, even in the daylight, I have to spend 10 minutes maneuvering and getting out of the car to make sure the garden's okay. I don't want to do that. I said no and told them I would run over the plants again and again, and they should move. A lot of people called me an idiot. Am I? Not the idiot. You do not make a garden in a parking lot. They can do potted plants in their parking spot, but not yours. And why do they insist on putting the plants near your spot? If they don't get enough light in their own spot, they could simply look for plants that can live with less light. There are patches of dirt in the backyard they can plant at, but apparently the gridded pavement sections serve them better, so they can monitor growth in the sun, shade, mixed, etc. I understand it's something nice for the kids, but I don't see why this pet project is not around their parking spots, but smack dab next to mine. These people are probably trying to take advantage of you because you were gone. Plus, if they put the plants near their spot, it'll probably be difficult for them to park. And God forbid they're inconvenienced. Good on you for not being a sucker. They have no business putting their garden in the parking lot, period. So for my place, even if the plant pots were in their parking spots, they'd be against the rules and removed. Because it's a driving hazard. Report them to the leasing or management if they keep harassing you. It's not on you to take on the burden of the driveway garden. I'm a freshly 18-year-old female. My brother is 26 years old. He and his fiancée, now wife, have been together for almost 45 years and are about to get married. She's 1 year younger than him, just for context. My brother popped the question, and she said yes, and then the wedding preparation started. I was so excited because I don't have any sisters, only 2 brothers, and I'm also the youngest. So my brother asked our half-brother, 30, to be in his wedding, and also his wife's brother, teen, to be the best man and groomsman. I just wanted to be the flower girl, but they said I was too old. So instead, the wife said I could be a bridesmaid. I was really excited about it. Just for context, before the wedding, we got along well, and I liked her. She was pretty nice to me, just really didn't talk to me. So my mom, the wife, and her 2 other bridesmaids went to the dress shop to look for dresses. She said the only requirement is it had to be red and flowy. I, by nature, have body image problems, so finding a dress to complement my body was going to be hard, but I was going to do my best to find one that I liked within her color scheme. We went to 3 different shops, and each time we all went, plus they added the wife's mom. On the 3rd one, I kept trying on dresses and simply kept trying to find one that fit me. Also, never being rude or giving up, I just nicely, politely said I didn't like it. I was on the 5th dress when suddenly, the bride started screaming at me saying, "Why are you trying to ruin my wedding? What's wrong with you?" etc., etc. I started crying, and then her mom started screaming at me, saying, "Why would you make my daughter cry?" etc. My mom went outside to talk to them, and then the bride cussed my mom out, and her mom cussed her out. Then I found out later they didn't want me in the wedding to begin with. They invited me in because they both wanted their brothers to be in it, but not me. So, am I the idiot for ruining her wedding? Everyone's the idiot here, because if I was the bride and one of my bridesmaids was being this fussy, I'd get annoyed. 3 shops and you couldn't find a dress because you have body image issues? And on top of that, you're someone I didn't really want in my bridal party? Yeah, I can see why the bride lost it. That said, the bride shouldn't have asked you if she really didn't want you, and she should have stopped the trip when it became clear you'd be difficult. As the bride, she had all the control, but instead of exercising any, she chose to blow up on you, and that's not okay. The bride is an adult. If she didn't want OP in the wedding, she could have left her out or given her another smaller role, read a poem in the ceremony, etc., and moved on with her life. She could have used her words like a grown-up. She doesn't have to have a meltdown in the store if she's frustrated with OP's indecision, because, again, she's an adult. Could OP be more decisive? Sure, but she's young, and having body image issues is tough, especially when you feel like you're going to be on display in front of your whole family and a bunch of near strangers. Brides don't get to throw tantrums and be psychotic because of their special day. The bride is an adult. So is OP. The day is not about you. Everyone knows bridesmaids' dresses suck. If it were me, I'd be frustrated too. I don't like shopping at the best of times. Even when I was the bride, I went to 1 shop because going to 2 or 3 would have driven me bananas. The ideal bridesmaid would have sucked it up and worn a dress they didn't like if the bride liked it, within reason. You were being difficult. My friend James, 24, is struggling with his girlfriend. They've been together for almost 3 years, but he's gotten increasingly unhappy. So he asked me to get coffee yesterday so we could do some venting. It's okay. I vent to him too. It's a cool perk of our friendship. We were drinking our coffee, and I was letting him talk, and he brought up her weight pretty quickly. I admit she has gained significant weight since they began dating. I believe James said she's gone up 3 or so pant sizes. James was saying that he loves her and still finds her plenty attractive, but then he started saying the problem is how it makes him look. He said he doesn't want to be the guy with a heavy girlfriend, and he hates when he goes out with groups of people and girlfriend is the biggest girl there all the time. He says he's not really sure there's a good way for him to bring any of this up though. I got mad at what he was saying. His girlfriend is one of the sweetest humans I've ever met. I know she also deals with some mental health irregularities that probably contribute to her inability to lose weight. I told James that he was a total idiot, and I didn't meet him to listen to him fat shame a wonderful woman. I thought the problems were deeper. I told him we were done and went home. He's blown up my phone, half apologizing and half saying that I agreed to hear him vent, so I can't get mad at what he's venting about. I'm torn on if I was in the right to cut our vent session short. Am I the idiot for calling my friend disgusting when I'm supposed to be supporting him? Not the idiot. Venting means getting something off your chest. It doesn't mean you're absolved from being an idiot. One of the values of venting to a friend is the reality check when you're being unreasonable. We're all idiots sometimes, and when we are, we usually can't see it. That's what friends are for. You could have asked why he cared so much about what other people think. Why are the groups of friends rude or mean, etc.? However, I believe nobody says anything to him about it. None of his friends are vain like him, or at least they don't openly admit it. Chances are his girlfriend has also noticed she's the biggest girl in the group. Your friend is an idiot, and you were good to drop him. Wish I had a spine like you. OP, you should tell his girlfriend, maybe vaguely rather than word for word. I don't know. It was a disgusting thing for him to say, what he said about her, because that's such an objectifying way for him to see her, as she's some accessory or something to prove his manhood to other men. Just ew. I feel bad for his girlfriend. I'm sending my kids to outdoor camp. It's been a great time for everyone. My daughter Rebecca, teen, is pretty rebellious with clothes. She hears a rule and will go out of her way to break it or try to get around it. It has caused so many problems before. Now the camp has you do activities like rock climbing or canoeing. The dress code is basically workout clothes, nothing with strings or loose fabric that can get caught. My daughter was wearing leggings and a runner's shirt before I dropped her off. She snuck in a dress and changed into it at camp. Well, that was a no-go, and they made her change back to her workout clothes, or she couldn't do the activities. They also sent me a note saying we have other things to do, and if it happens again, she'll be asked not to return. I agree with them 100%, but she's been saying they can't police her clothes, and my husband and daughter think I'm a jerk for not fighting the camp on the dress code. My husband has trouble with when to pull back support for my daughter, especially with issues that affect women only. I think he's trying to be supportive since dress codes are usually awful. Also, it doesn't help that he's not athletic at all, and I think he doesn't understand why climbing in a dress won't work. Not the idiot. They can't police her clothes? Actually, they can, and they have. Suppose she gets hurt because she's dressed inappropriately for an activity. In that case, it's their butt getting sued for allowing her to participate while dressed in a way that increases her risk of injury. She's 15. She's old enough to understand that there's a time and a place to be as cute as possible, and it isn't at an athletic day camp. She can follow the rules that apply to everyone or suffer the consequences. This isn't a body shaming or freedom of speech issue. It's a safety issue. Rock climbing in a dress would be ridiculously unsafe and just obviously impractical. They have a camp full of other campers to watch, and adding this distraction is entitled behavior. There might be a video of the Duggar girls trying to rock climb in their ridiculously impractical skirts on the internet somewhere. You should show it to your husband to illustrate that it isn't practical, dignified, or comfortable for anyone to rock climb in skirts or dresses. Is your daughter very insecure about herself? I was a bit like this as a young teen, albeit not to this extreme, and it stemmed from extreme discomfort over how people perceived me. It manifested as trying to look immaculate as often as physically possible, even to the point of physical discomfort. There might be a bigger issue than fashion going on here. This has been a problem before. She always wants to look 100% perfect, but usually doesn't dress for events properly, usually way overdressed. Thank you for the suggestion. I sent my video a husband of rock climbing in a dress, which should clarify why she can't do that.